Hello, students, and welcome to this session on IIM Lucknow's Noida Campus PGPWE program. We have with us Professor Priyatam Anurag, who is the chairperson for PGPWE program of IIM Lucknow at Noida Campus. A little bit about Professor Priyatam Anurag. He's been associated with IIM Lucknow since July 2019, completed his PhD in strategy from IIM Bangalore in 2019. And prior to his PhD, he worked as a consultant faculty and research with the Indian Institute of Bank Management, Guwahati, for 3 years. He has also worked as a management in the Wholesome Credit and Market Risk Division of HDFC Bank. Welcome on board, sir. Pleasure to have you. My first question would be, could you please give us an overview of the PGPWE program that is offered by IIM Lucknow, what it is about?
The PGPWE program, it stands for Postgraduate Program for Working Executives. So let me give you the context of this program. So this program started in 2005. And then at that time, among the top IIMs, IIM Lucknow was the only IIM which had presence in the Delhi NCR region. So prior to establishment of the Noida campus, the working professionals in Delhi NCR region, they did not really have an opportunity to work on their management knowledge while still, doing their job. So this kind of education opportunities were not available. So IIM Lucknow's PGPWE program came to bridge need for education of students, and that is the genesis of the program. So the incoming batch will be the 22nd batch of PGPWE. So as you can see, it is a very mature program. So over a period of time, I think the program has developed a very good track record of learning and networking and providing professional enhancement to the students. So overall, this program tries to provide a very comprehensive education opportunities to the PGPWE students. Unlike many programs, it is completely classroom based. So all education happens through classroom, though it is a part-time education, but it is classroom based. So students have to visit campus and they attend all the classes in the campus. And so the entire program spans about, say, 2 years of time.
If we had to talk about the course structure, what exactly is the course structure for the PGPWE program? And what are the unique elements that have been incorporated here for the working executives? Because as you said, it is primarily for the working executives.
So if you look at the entire annual terms, and each term is of about 2.5 months, so about, say, 10 to 12 weeks. And in each term, we have a coverage of 4 courses. So 7 terms and 4 courses means that overall we have about 28 courses that has to be completed within the program duration. Now, if you look at the composition basket of these 28 courses, they are made up of 3 different types. So first we have this foundation courses. So in foundation courses, you have subjects like quantitative analysis, you have subject like economics, you have subject like human behavior. So which forms the foundation of management education. On that layer, then we build the layer of functional and general management courses. Like functional courses would be like, say, marketing, HR, finance, and then general management would be like strategic management. So that is the second layer. And then over and above that layer, then finally we have the electives. So students then have to do about 7 electives, which may span their areas of interest. So that makes it about 25 courses. Apart from these 25 courses, students also do 1 credit of international immersion. So which happens, that we will get into more detail as we move along. And then we have 2 credit of dissertation. So where students can take up practice-based research question and then complete an MA type thesis under professor. So that is the entire program structure. So overall, we have this 28 credits of academic courses, out of which I think most of it is done in the Noida campus, but students also get to visit Lucknow campus. So we have a Lucknow campus immersion, and apart from that, students gain international exposure through 2 weeks of foreign visit to an international campus, mostly in Europe. So last time we had gone to IESCG, so where students took up 2 half-credit courses, and in AI and entrepreneurship and advanced negotiation. So that brings in more of international exposure apart from our own curriculum, which is designed from a global management mindset. So that is the largely the program structure of PGPWE.
What are the unique elements then for, I mean, if a working executive had to see, how would things be different for them comparatively than the regular?
Elements. Yes, so unique elements, if you see, so compared to the other programs, here the focus is that much more in terms of peer-to-peer learning. And also you have more of, say, practice-based sessions. And also in terms of pedagogical tools, we have more emphasis, for example, on, say, group activity, and which then brings your shared experiences that participants may have from like working on in different setups. And so that kind of complement. So you have your conceptual learning, which is given through your classroom lectures, case discussions, and all. And that is something which gets complemented through peer interactions and industry interactions. So apart from that, you have international immersion is another unique element. So there we have, like I mentioned, you have a 2-week global exposure to an international school. And then mostly we have been visiting campuses in Europe. So there students get trained under an international faculty. Apart from that, they also visit industries. So there are industry visits. So that adds to it. Apart from that, the dissertation element is also quite unique. So if you look at dissertation, so that is something which is giving them an opportunity to develop a very in-depth understanding in their own area of interest. So unlike courses, which tends to be general interest, or even electives would be somewhat specialized, but still, I mean, they tend to incorporate interest of like many students, right? So thesis or your dissertation is something which gives them something in which they can apply whatever concepts that they are learning in their own unique industry problem that they are facing. So these would be, I think, some of the unique elements.
So this program is primarily for working professionals. So how has the flexibility been incorporated in terms of the weekend classes, the workload, or the examinations? Because these are working professionals, they have other commitments too. So, and it's a classroom program on top of that. So how does the flexibility work out?
So the program is customized for working professionals. But if you look at it, we have to balance academic rigor with flexibility. So some of the elements which comes in is that in terms of classes, for example, so our classes usually start from Friday afternoon when most of the professionals would have completed bulk of the job that they have to do for their companies, and then they can come and attend the classes. So weekend classes gives them some flexibility. Then apart from that, flexibility also comes from the fact that they will not have classes on all weekends. So some weekends they will not have class. So suppose you have a 12 week of term. So in that 12 week, they will have to visit 7 or 8 times to the campus. So that brings in an additional layer of flexibility. In terms of evaluation, because the nature of evaluation is continuous evaluation. So you have quizzes, you have assignments, and end-term exam. Unlike other program, here we do not have a midterm exam. So to make sure that students do not miss any evaluation, so that also kind of brings in some element of flexibility. And like I said, flexibility has to be balanced with rigor. So
Yeah. So these working professionals coming back after a certain point of time to the academic, it'll be slightly challenging, but I think with 22 batches already in, I guess
yeah.
it's something
So
that.
usually what we find is that students are able to complete the program within 2 years. But in case somebody is facing some kind of an exigency, then they can take a year drop and then rejoin the program at the same level. So overall, they get about 4 years for completing the program. So
Okay.
that is also a flexibility which is there, but not very frequently used. So what we have found is that most of these students, because the entire program structure, calendar, and everything is given to them much in advance. So most of them are able to complete it within the 2-year period. But in exceptions, there is a provision. Of course, I mean, it requires approval from the PGPWE committee, which is the governing committee for the program. But having said that, students still have flexibility that suppose they face any unforeseen circumstances, then they have an option of taking a year drop and rejoin the program in the same term that they had dropped out.
So if you had to actually look at some of the similarities and differences between the PGPWE and the PGP program of IIM Lucknow, what would you say they were?
Similarities like these programs very much reflect IIM Lucknow's commitment to one of the main emphasis of IIM Lucknow, if I must say, is that how do we influence practice? And how do we influence practice through education which is globally relevant and socially conscious? So that still reflects. I mean, across program, we try to incorporate features that reflects our commitment to providing globally relevant education, which is also socially conscious. So that is something which would be hallmark of all our programs. But unlike our conventional MBA, PGPWE is like we discussed earlier also. So it is customized for working professionals. So there are elements which are built in, which reflects like in terms of program structure, the course load. I think per term is lesser here. So in here, like we are doing only 4 courses. In our conventional MBA, in each term, six courses on an average are done. So as a result, the workload is lesser. Also, like I explained, the evaluation methods are program objective even is driven by how do we bring in more of peer learning. And so those are the elements where we are differentiating. Now, unlike our conventional MBA, here I think all the participants are still working, or so as a result they do not require any placement support, so because they are mostly working and then they are doing well in their career. So here to complement or kind of help them with their career, we have an academic services. So in academic services, we bring in elements like how do they maybe plan their career better, how do they improve their CV for projecting their skills better, how do they create more social media visibility. And then to complement it all, we also have mentorship. So where they are paired with industry mentors who can help them and guide them in their professional journey.
So I would like to ask, what is the admission process for the PGPWE program? How does one go about it?
So admission process, the first thing is the eligibility. Now most of these information is available on our website. So from an eligibility perspective, the basic eligibility is graduation. So graduation with 50% marks. So they should be graduate with 50% marks or equivalent CGPA. Minimum work experience requirement is 3 years of full-time work experience requirement. So this is the basic eligibility requirement. And then after that, there is a two-stage admission process. So first stage is we have a dedicated exam for PGPWE, so which is different from CAT, so which happens from the Noida campus. But not all students are required to attend that PGPWE entrance exam. Those students who have valid GMAT, GRE, GATE, or CAT score, uh, and valid means that it should happen in prescribed years, like 2 years duration. So if they have that, then they directly go to the interview round if they meet the minimum shortlisting criteria. So then they progress directly to the interview round, and in interview we have two tools. First is your written aptitude test, VAT, and then that is something which is followed by a personal interview. So that is the basic admission process. So two-stage. First stage, some participants can or some applicants can skip if they have valid test scores, but VAT and PIA is which usually happens at the Noida campus.
What are the career progressions or transformations you have observed after students have completed the PGPW program,
So
among the
we
alumni?
So we track the career progression of students during the 2-year period. what we have observed over a period of time, that a great majority of our participants are able to transition into senior positions within the program duration in the same company that they are operating. Then there are also cases where they switch companies and gain senior position in, say, another company. Some of them are also able to switch their industries. So we see, I mean, some level of, I think, career mobility both within the company from which when they joined, and we also see them switching their maybe domains, switching their companies, switching their industries in some ways.
Is there any message that you would like to give the professionals who are considering applying to the PGPW program? So if you have any message to give, we can just pass it on.
So IIM Lucknow stands for Assurance for Good Quality Education. And so there are two things that are assured for students. One is lifelong learning, and second is lifelong relationships. So this lifelong learning and lifelong relationship is something that they will gain, and then that will last their professional journey, and then that will last maybe, I mean, will be helpful even otherwise. And then they get the same degree that they gain through other programs of IIM Lucknow. So the MBA degree that they gain in PGPWE is same as the MBA degree that they would gain through other programs like PGP or IPMS and all. So in that sense, it is they're getting it, and then they're benefiting from their work experience in the best possible way. And then, like we discussed, I mean, this is a time-tested program. So as a time-tested program, I think there is a lot of assurance of good quality learning and all of it.
Yep. Thank you so much, Professor, for giving us the valuable inputs. I'm sure
Pleasure.
all this would
Yeah.
pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.